Is it worth it to be picking up the hype that has been presented out of this week? Well, I'm here to answer that. Make sure you guys smash the and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So we're going to start off over here with Unchained and all of the hype that has built up about this, because I'm seeing people go, you know, is it worth it to pick up at these hype prices? And to answer the question for you, had you picked up very early on, you would have been rewarded. You would have been looking at it right now and going, wow, you know, this might have been an excellent opportunity to dump it and actually cash in on, you know, that big equity. We tend to see this a lot with these particular sets, as, you know, all of a sudden, you know, something's gaining a lot of metagame momentum, and then bam, out of nowhere, the deck becomes a tier 1 monster. It's not like it wasn't already projected to be that way. I mean, we've seen Labyrinth Unchained as well. Also keep in mind that, you know, if you don't want to pick up everything, you can go pick up, you know, the new Labyrinth cards, or the reprints of Labyrinth from the 10s, and go ahead and combine that with the mini Unchained package, because you gotta love generic Fiend support. You know, when you can see these engines kind of combining together, that's where you get this extra little value being spliced on into this. So to answer the question right now, you still have probably weeks until a ban list. You have weeks until Age of Overlord. You're still 7-8 weeks away from Age at this point in time. And if you think that Age is still going to be a, you know, Unchained's still going to stick around and be a meta-relevant deck. I mean, the only things you have adding into this are Horus, you have Diabell Star, you know, Doomsday Star, SP Lil. All of these cards do change the game. But is it enough to make the future investment of Unchained, you know, is the amount of money I'm going to be paying for this worth the time versus it? And that's the biggest question you have to ask yourself right now. And, I mean, do I think that Unchained's going to get hit in a future list? I don't think so. I think it's too early at this point. I feel like that'd be a January/February answer, but, you know, that's just where we're sitting right now. So, there's that. Now, the Marionette Might hype. Now, we have seen things like Marionette Might. I mean, Puppet Plant's a good classic example of a card that storms into the meta. People look around at it, they're like, I don't like this. You know, where'd this tech choice come from that's, you know, suddenly spiked in price? Well, the community has grabbed hold of Marionette Might. They've shook it up. I mean, I'm seeing people spend $9 on a playset of this when the card 2 days ago was literally, had you looked at the reference page for the YCS and you saw, you know, the tech choices and Marionette Might was on that list, had you read that and you went, huh, I could pick this up, you would have spent $2 on a playset at that point. So there were resources that were given to people before the card exploded in value. It's just people are always like, you know, where do you find this info? Literally on the Konami blog. They do event coverage for this. You know, if you wait till after the event, you're going to miss out on opportunities like the Marionette Might. And that's where I think a lot of people are losing their minds right now. They're just so unhappy that they're seeing, you know, this crazy explosion of value in a common, thank you Strike and Neos, but it's been reprinted into zombie structure decks. So I to be honest with you, I think the card is a cool tech choice. You do have Change of Heart, you do have Mind Control as sub options to play. All right, I mean, the alternatives are there. All right, you don't have to go crazy for this. And we're so far away from a feasible reprint of this to be, you know, really relevant at any point. So you've got to keep that in mind at the end of this. But that's my 2 cents on Marionette Might. I think it's very hyped for what it is right now. I think a lot of people need to just kind of chill out in terms of the spiking crazy value that's on it. Next up is, do we go into the Exorcist hype? Now, for those of you that have been paying attention to the fairly recent explosion of value on the 10s, and I mean, it's not like it's been a crazy explosion of value, but let's call it what it is at this point in time. If you're looking at Exorcist stuff in the 10s and you're seeing all of these things spinning around out here and you're like, oh boy, you know, is this worth it to pick up? Well, one, you got to understand that everything else was low rarity. There were Exorcist players out here that were looking at all this low rarity stuff, and they're going, hey, upgrades. I can finally upgrade my trash pile to something a little bit better. And I think that's one big thing that people got to understand is people want upgrades. People want the chance to get these higher rarity cards. And that's going to be a lot of the story, especially when you're looking at these cards and they were $1 or $2 and people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people buying this. They were $1 or $2, man. All right. That's the reason why you're seeing these 50-cent dollar cards becoming $3 to $4 because they're the penny stocks. People are like, oh, I can $10? I mean, that's okay. Like, you have to ask yourself, $40, $50 for a card? That's too much. $10 for 3 play sets of a card? Sign me up, man. We'll see where this goes. We'll pick this up and we'll call it a day. And that's exactly what we're seeing with all of these cheap things with the tins right now. It's why these numbers are disappearing, because they're cheap. People want to pick up cheap cards. All right, people will be more inclined to spend 50 cents on cards all day long than $100. That's just how it is. All right, that's common sense at this point in time. So to pick up now at the $3 to $4 mark for some of this stuff, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? I don't have an answer for you. I will have to wait and see. I think more circulation can come back a month or two from here. Then there's that, but can you wait that long? I don't know. Next up is Bysteel Hype. Oh boy. Everybody has hit me with Robbie, you keep talking about buy steals. You're not talking about a ban. I talked about a ban list at every other point in time. All right. At this point in time, if you've even heard me breathe, I'm fat. You should be hearing that. You should be aware that there's a ban list coming at this point in time. I shouldn't need to point out to you, hey guys, ban list probably coming sometime in the future. Should be a little bit scary of buying Magna Hood. That's common sense in my personal opinion at this point in time. It's like, hey, oh boy, Magna Hood, yay. They're going up in price. I wonder why. Ban list hype? Well, I don't know, maybe. I understand that there's a lot of hype right now in buy steals because they were already kind of cheap, but they're more available right now. They're in the higher rarities. People want to pick these up, and people always want to have their shiny cardboard right now. That's important to them, all right? Don't underestimate the people that will spend money, and they'll be like, all right, well, I don't care if it gets hit on the list. I've got the cards. I've got my play set. I've taken care of it. I don't have to spend money anymore. Some people will get irked off by the mentality of, oh, I need to pick these up later. They forget, or it suddenly goes up. They'd rather just spend the money. Full disclaimer, Juris Worms did shoot up dramatically. I mean, the card's probably, as of filming this, I think the card is the most expensive card in the set, which is crazy to me that it surpassed literally everything else. But my 2 cents on the buy steals right now. Magna Hut, no go. Juris Worms, I probably wouldn't touch either. Saronniers are looking a little bit more inviting. I've already got all my low rarity buy steals. I mean, yeah, the prismatic secret rares, they look nice. They're amazing. But you've got to ask yourself at this point in time, is it worth it? And for shiny cardboard, I don't know. You got to ask yourself that same question. So that's where I'm sitting right now. Now, this last point here is for Phantom Nightmare. Now, for probably the next couple weeks, you are going to be seeing Phantom Nightmare reveals probably every once in a while. And with that, you are going to probably see multiple opportunities to go invest into some sort of past theme. Now, you as a consumer are going to have to educate yourself and go, hey, is this where I want to spend my money? Is this the optimal result? And from where I'm sitting right now, I have no idea what future releases are going to bring. Your crystal ball is as clear as mine. I just wanted to make a point here and go, hey, if you look at something that's coming out and you're like, this seems like something I might enjoy, then pick it up. That's a lot of the things, especially with the Novox Prayer stuff that just came out. Skull Guardian and Novox Prayer aren't going to really see play with the new stuff. But if you're a collector and you're like, well, this might be one of my last opportunities before something terminally offsets somewhere, then yes, that'd be what I'd consider it. But you have to be there earlier than later. If you're there, later, you're going to be watching the destructive buyout prices. And I mean, there's always the chance where the market does, reset back down to more affordable options. That is a pretty major thing to consider at the end of this. So, just full disclaimer here. There will be a lot of interesting things that are going to tempt a lot of future people here with this stuff. Do decide where you want to spend your money and make those decisions sparingly. So, that's where I am on this little extra market content for you today. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.